Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Big Finish fans. After a little break, we are back to tier list some classic Doctors, new monsters. All three volumes are out so far, right up until volume 1 to The Stuff of Nightmares. Once again, I am joined with Luke.
Yes, hello everyone. What better way to come back than a tier list, really, isn't it? It's our bread and butter, I suppose. And classic Doctors, new monsters. We've had a third volume added, so we might as well take a look back at what we've had so far and put them all together.
Yeah, so how have you been keeping in these past 3 weeks? What have you been doing?
I've been away on a holiday. Been over to Mallorca for a bit of sun and listening to Big Finish for a while. Although that ended in somewhat tragedy because I got an ear infection on like the Monday, came back on the Thursday, and so couldn't really listen to any Big Finish for those last 4 days, and was in a bit of pain as well. There's that too. But
Oh, a bit of sympathy.
the main issue is the lack of Big Finish, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
How about you? What have you been up to?
I can't say as much Big Finish as you. It's been kind of Big Finish light listening to the latest Eccleston set, which has been all right so far. I've only listened to some Taran one, and I think the next story is meant to be the stinker, because that's the thing with the Eccleston box that you normally get a stinker within the box, and I've heard that the middle story is the stinker of the
I
box
think
set, really.
that tends to be the case with a couple of them, doesn't it? Well, certainly in series 2.
Yeah, False Dimitri definitely is a bit of a clanger.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, worked with James on a little short film, which was fun. Nice thing doing that for his little project. So yeah, that's mainly been me, really.
Yeah, he's kept you busy, hasn't he?
He's kept me busy. He's kept me away from Big Finish.
Yeah,
But yeah,
but
there we go.
also did some rewatching as well of some episodes I haven't done since they first broadcast. I went back
Oh,
to good old Peter Capaldi.
good
I
man.
listened to Oxygen for listened to. I'm so used to Big Finish. Watched Oxygen first, which is
I
one
mean,
that
in Oxygen's case, you could shut your eyes and listen to it because I'm still blind.
just experience it the proper way.
Yeah,
Peter Capaldi's blind eyes.
yeah.
So yeah, do that from the spacewalk scene.
Yeah, you're pretty much there in the Doctor's point of view. Yeah.
But that was one I remembered not really liking so much. That was like the first clanger of well, actually no, to be fair, I didn't like the pilot that much. But after that it was a good run, and then Oxygen came along and I was a bit disillusioned again with Series 10 before it eventually got back on track. Towards the finale, really. I mean, I think 2/3 of the Monk trilogy were pretty good as well. And then you get to Empress of Mars and it's good from there on. But yeah, certainly Oxygen was one that I would have ranked quite low down on the list. I feel like part of that is like my political view changing as well in that time. I feel like
Yeah,
we've said before we were a bit more edgelordy back
yeah.
then with our opinions, and so just the whole takes on capitalism in there. Maybe I was a bit too centrist back then and was like, "Oh no, you can't be that mean towards it." But now I'm like, no, that's bang on the money. I mean, especially with the cost of living crisis at the moment, everything going on, it does still hit pretty hard to home. And I think, yeah, it makes some good points there. And just overall, it is a much better story than I gave it credit for before. So
It's one
yeah,
of the
I've come around on that. I
standouts.
really enjoyed it. Yeah.
It's one of the standouts of the series, and I love the makeup of the zombies. That's really, really.
That's
It feels very classic. Hey, really, I love it.
yeah, that's some very creepy stuff there. That's the opening with them just slowly walking. I think the scene when the Doctor, Bill, and Nardole sort of like first find that body, and then eventually when it starts moving, that gives me chills. That was very well done, and I like the dynamic of the three of them. And early on in the episode, with Nardole just wanting to leave and Bill sort of like being in the same mindset. I like Bill's evolution as a character because she's not quite there for the adventure in saving people just yet, and it's nice that we don't get that sort of companion right off the bat. It's nice that she develops into that through the stories, because Smile isn't quite about that at first. It's just like the joy of exploring with the Doctor, really. And so then eventually it evolves into more than that. So yeah, Series 10, just great stuff throughout, really. And I also went back to a Series 9 story.
What? Series 9?
Two-parter. Yeah, surprisingly. Can go on, guess which one? Because I feel like it's the go-to one.
It's got to be Under the Lake Before the Flood.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, Tivolians, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, that might have had a part to play. But I really enjoyed Under the Lake. That was really good stuff. Before the Flood definitely felt like it needed a few more drafts. Like the Fisher King just has no real setup or presence as a villain.
Great design, though.
That is a bomb-ass design. But yeah, it's just like the fact that he just comes back to life for no real reason. Like, it's not mentioned as part of his plan or anything. It's just like, oh, this is a funeral ship sent by the other people. Yeah, it just it didn't quite click all together as nicely as it should have. I feel like the first episode was quite tightly done, so it's a shame. But it still has some great moments though, like the scene where the ghost of Moran is dragging the axe along the floor and is following along behind. Is it Cass? Is the
Yeah, Cass is the deaf one. Yeah,
yeah. And
you get like the vibrations, really good.
Yeah, and obviously she can't hear it, so it's quite tense when that's going along. I do feel like they made a mistake in the editing though, because during that sequence it cuts away to the Doctor for a bit, or so it might something going on in the past, and then you cut back to her and that. And I feel like that should have just all played as one to really rack up that tension before those final moments. But nevertheless, still brilliantly done. It does have its good moments in, and also it was amazed seeing like the series overall arc in there, like not the hybrid stuff, but Clara's character and the Doctor's like their dynamic and how they see each other, because a lot of it with the ghosts and stuff is dealing with the idea of Clara having lost Annie and now the Doctor being pretty much all she has. And so
it's quite funny because you get a line like, "You die, who comes after me?" I'm like, he did die after the person who came after you. You know.
Yeah, he kept that promise. Such a big sin to Clara. He kept his promise and died on Bill.
Oh well, Bill died on him first, and then she came back as a brother. Yeah. But, yeah. What a time! What a time that was. Yeah, I really like that. It's a good two-parter.
Yeah, so it's been nice just getting more Capaldi, because you forget how good a Doctor he is. And look forward to watching some more of him at some point.
That'll be good.
I suppose for now, should we talk about some classic Doctors instead, but still with some new monsters?
Yeah, should we have a quick look at the chat first?
Yeah,
see who's about. And then we'll crack on with our tier list.
Yes, hello, stylish person.
Hello.
Do either of you own the physical box set version of Volume 1 with the Star Trek ship on it? Oh, yeah, because there was two versions, wasn't there? Because they made a bit of a muck up there.
I think I do. I think
I probably do as well. I haven't checked, but I think it was like the first batch, and I'm pretty sure we both pre-ordered, didn't we? So we'd have got...
Yes. Yeah. It was one of those instant pre-orders from like the first wave of new series stuff.
Yeah. So I feel like we probably do have that, but I haven't personally checked, so I'm not 100% sure on that, but I feel like I probably do. Great to have you two back in live stream again. I took on board your recommendation, Ben, and got Diary of a Song 3, which I'm really looking forward to. Also, news soon apparently about the Centenary special. Yeah, I saw that buzzing around on Twitter a bit. I suppose it's about time because it's 2 months away. Presumably.
Hopefully, we have a title. That's all I want. I just want a title.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a bit of a mouthful going Centenary special.
Yeah, it's just what we call it all the time now, isn't it?
Because I saw the rumors that like Woman Who Fell to Time or something like that. I don't know. There's been that rumored title. I don't know.
Oh yeah. Luke with the hot takes even before the tier list. Oxygen is one of Capaldi's highest rated episodes whenever I see fan polls about it. To be fair, I probably agree with that now. Certainly it's in the top 10, maybe 5. Yeah,
it's
it's a
definitely
great
top 10.
It is a great episode. I certainly slept on that one and gave it way more hate than it deserved through the last however long it's been. I mean, I think we even spoke about it recently. I don't remember if it's on a stream or not, but I'm pretty sure Oxygen came up when we were talking about Series 10. I was like, yeah, I don't rate that one.
Yeah, we probably did when we were talking about like Emancipation of the Daleks. We probably referenced Series 10 in that way.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm glad I went back to it. I love stories that come full circle. Swander Lake is one of my favourite New Who stories as it's so well written and even references my hometown, which I love. Oh, nice. Sean WWW says, yo, when do you think we'll get a trailer for the special? Can't wait.
Hello. Probably when Strictly Come Dancing happens. That was Flux, wasn't it? That's what happened with Flux.
Yeah. I feel like it's usually about a month before.
So
maybe September sometime.
People are saying the 17th of September. But yeah, it'd be good to finally get details on it because it feels like a long time coming, really.
Yeah, we had that drop, and then since then it's been Shooting Up was the Doctor, David Tennant, Catherine Tate are back, filming pictures, all this stuff, and now that's sort of quieted down again. It feels like about time that we got.
I don't know if it has quieted down actually, because you had Tennant, I think, last weekend going, "What you've seen on set barely covers it because we're just a tiny cog in it." So there's more happening, what we just don't know yet.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, apparently Callum Gillan's working on something at the moment that's not a movie, but she can't say anything more about. So
it's Big Finish because Matt Smith's joining Big Finish.
Yeah,
it's that thing. Jacob Dudman's gone, so Matt Smith's coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, apparently he's cut his hair for it. So
wow, that's a thing,
Like people have looked at his haircut and gone, yeah, he's definitely coming back as a Doctor. I just feel we had that whole same thing with David Tennant, didn't we?
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Because you had that weird person running across with Tennant and Neil Patrick Harris, and people were like, "That's Matt Smith. That's Matt Smith because he's got his free jacket."
Oh,
you're like, okay. I mean, from a distance, yeah, it looks very Matt Smith, but we could be joking and be like, "Yeah, that is actually Matt Smith" later on down the line. But for now, we can joke.
I mean, Shooty starts filming in November, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's. I think Sex Education's just started today.
Yeah, I believe so. I think that's final season, isn't it? And that'll probably go through till October, I imagine.
I guess. I think they've just started pre-production now, I think, for series 14 or whatever they want to call Shooty's first season series.
Yeah. I was seeing someone made an interesting point of where's the Tennant specials gonna go on the iPlayer? Will it be at the end of series 13 or will it be at the start of 14?
I think it will be in its own little bracket, like 60th anniversary special.
Yeah, mate. But they never did that for like the Tennant specials or any of the others. So,
I mean that. Yeah, I think they were classed as like series 4, like episode 15, 14, and stuff like that, weren't they?
Yeah.
Really. But I feel like these specials are their own entity. There's definitely a clear divide between Jodie and Russell. Not Chip or Sue, I should say. But yeah, I think it's going to be its own little anniversary pocket.
Yeah. Speaking of clear divides, shall we move on to a tier list?
Yes, let's do that. Let's go on to the main bulk of this stream. Yeah, too good a thing not to waste.
Yeah. I mean, we love our puns, and we've got a few here on this tier list, don't we?
Oh yes, you've not failed us with the puns this time.
Well, I've had 3 weeks to think of them, haven't I?
That's true. So
I say that they all came to me like while I was making.
There we go. Shh, don't ruin the magic.
Yeah. Okay, saying that makes it look even more impressive.
Okay.
Saying you cannot have more than one. Well, I'm saying they're not that good.
I had a vision, and these are the puns I come up with.
It doesn't take me 3 weeks to come up with puns. I do this on the back of my hand 5 minutes
Oh,
before the
okay.
stream.
That's true. That's why we're always late.
Yeah, we're coming up with a tip. Hey.
Oh, there we go. Right.
Yeah.
Do you want to introduce us?
Well, at the top here we have the stuff of good dreams, a twist on the stuff of nightmares. And on the nightmare, we have nightmarishly good as the next tier down. The episode that was too mid, a pun on the Tvolian who knew too much. Cursed by Carrier Knights, What an Ordeal, and finally, If I Should Fall Asleep Before I Finish This, the ultimate in punishments for a story which we don't like.
Be interesting to see what goes in there. I feel like I know which one will go there.
Now we shall see. Yeah, because I mean, we mostly know each other's opinions on volumes 1 and 2. I mean, I've had the chance to re-listen to the majority of it, so some opinions may have changed there. We'll see. But yeah, certainly volume 3, other than the first story, which we spoke about a bit, it could be anything really. So we'll see where these go. But I mean, what's your opinion on Classic Doctor's New Monsters as a range?
It's a gimmick, but I'm here for it. It's a range what I think is very much it's for the new listeners, especially like the first 2 box sets. I think volume 3.
I'm not sure about the third set there.
Yeah, that's what I was. Volume 3 sort of feels like a step away from that, really. But then, especially with like 8 and Charlie, I think if you want to enjoy the 8 and Charlie story, you've kind of got to have a bit. That's more for like the long-term Big Finish list of a Charlie one.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that at the end, but yeah.
Yeah. But I think that it's nice that Tim and Sadie are in a mainstream box set. It's wrong to say mainstream, but I feel like this is definitely one of those ones where people are more gravitated towards than any other set, really.
I mean, this was like one of the blockbuster releases back in the day, wasn't it? Volume 1 and 2 were some of the highlights of the year. Back when, it was like the first thing that was announced when we got the new series license, this, River, and Churchill years. And this was clearly the highlight. And so obviously it was the one that was the furthest away from being released.
Was it July 2016, was it?
Yeah, it was. And then I think like River and Churchill were January. Well, River was January, then got pushed forward to December. Yeah, what a time to be alive that was. And just think how far the new series license has come since then. So it's interesting, I suppose, going back to this range with Volume 3 and later 4, especially 3, you got a lot more obscure monsters.
Yeah, Volume 3 felt very sort of, is this a joke? Is it a meme? Like, is it a genuine thing? And, Big Finish aren't. They're one of those companies that they're not afraid to redeem, like, the low list monsters, like the Vardens. Not quite well regarded, but they seem to be like the go-to surprise villain, and they've had a good time on Big Finish, really.
I think it also allows them to be more creative with them in the story because they're not as well defined. Like something like the Weeping Angels and the Dune, people have a very clear view of what they are. Whereas with this, well, I mean, you've got a completely new character in the Hawks of Balhoun, and then the Tvolians and the Cantrafari. You've got a lot more freedom there to play about with them a bit. Yeah, I think they do tell some interesting new stories there. But yeah, certainly, for me, Classic Doctor's New Monsters a range is not just about having a Classic Doctor face a new monster. It's also about having a Classic Doctor in a new series style story. I think that's fair. I mean, these are all like hour-long episodes, really, aren't they? There's not 2-parters or anything like that. And a lot of them have a very new series style to the writing. None of them more than Fallen Angels, I'd say. I think that really does sum up that mission statement of the range.
Yeah, because sometimes you get a nice fusion of eras, like the house of the Hawks built, I think
Mm,
that's a great little fusion of Barry Letts and RTD.
yeah.
But
And then sometimes you have something almost totally new with the Sontaran ordeal, because that is very much, that was our first taste of the Eighth Doctrine of Time War. And it's funny thinking about that now that we've had so much of it, but this was really exciting at the time to have that.
well, it's an interesting one because that was the one where we all kicked off about.
Yeah, it's the elephant in the room, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
these are, but at the same time, it's still like new series in style, and you could argue that the Time War as a new series concept makes it that, like, you could say the Time War is the monster of the piece.
True.
Yeah, because certainly does some damage.
Oh yeah. So should we dive into the actual stories then?
Yeah, might as well. Let's talk about Fallen Angels, because I know this is a big favorite of yours, isn't it?
I think it's the best Weeping Angel story Big Finish have done, hands down.
I'll
I
probably
don't,
agree with that.
I don't know if that's a hot take, but in my head, I'm like, people really like Wink. I wasn't a big fan of Wink, but for me, this is nothing's been topped.
Yeah, there's definitely. Carnival of Angels is a very good one with River, but I think this still tops it.
I think the setting is brilliant because you get the nice sort of catacomb bits, don't you? Like the little tunnels within it from memory. You get Michelangelo's, who's a great sort of companion of the week.
It's
I think
very
played by Sam Kelly, I think.
Yeah. If anything, I'd say the companions of the week are Sacha Dhawan's character and
Diana
I
Morgan.
can't remember the other character's name. Well, to be fair, I can't remember Sacha Dhawan's character's name either.
Yeah.
But that's funny, re-listening to that now, knowing he's the master. But yeah, he does a great job there. And they're both school teachers as well, which is quite a nice. It's like a new series twist on the original classic series companions. Yeah, where just looking through the cast list now.
So you got Philomena Clunk, Diana Morgan there, which is kind of like, oh, that's Philomena Clunk.
Here we go. Joel is Sacha Dhawan's character. And
who's Diana Morgan's character?
Gabby. There we go.
Gabby, there we go.
Joel and Gabby. Yeah, they are two a newlywed couple on their honeymoon, and they get sent back in time by the Weeping Angels. I mean, that makes for like very special vibes in a way, doesn't it? It's sort of got that Donna Noble quality of her being dispatched off to the TARDIS on her wedding day. So
yeah.
And there's that scene where they reunite and make out right in front of the Doctor, and he's very uncomfortable with it. Like, that's very much like, new series style stuff, and sort of saying, this is what your future's gonna be. So I think, like I said before, this very much fulfills the mission statement of the range for me. It is not just a classic Doctor facing a new series monster, it is also a classic Doctor in a new series style story. And I think of the classic Doctors, Peter Capaldi? Peter Davison. Peter Capaldi is a new series Doctor. Peter Davison fits that role, fits that glove really well.
Yeah, because I guess there's a lot of like Time Crash made parallels to how similar he is to, David's Doctor is similar to Davison, so it feels quite fitting to put an iconic monster from the 10th era against the Fifth Doctor, really.
Yeah, and to be honest, this feels like if Russell wrote the Weeping Angels. Like, it's not full on horror. It's not quite as mind bending as Stephen Moffat would usually do. But it's got those good scares in it, but it's also a good amount of fun as well.
Yeah, because you've got Dan Starkey playing this quite evil priest who's quite sinister in parts. Yeah.
I mean, a couple of them in a way, because he like plays one in the present and then another one in the past.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
He's like quite a creepy pre-title sequence with him blowing out the lights.
Very good stuff.
Yeah. Air Knight says, I feel they're a great enemy for the Fifth Doctor. Yeah, great. And I mean, certainly one of the things that came up when this was first announced was, how are you going to make Weeping Angels work on audio? Surely they're a very visual monster. But it does work, really. And it is like that jump scare noise, isn't it?
Yes.
There's not too much that angel's just moved. There are some bits of that, but they're very much.
You can't avoid it, can you? It's just the nature of audio drama. You have to have those moments of exposition to go, this is what's happening.
But also it feels natural as well, because especially when the characters don't know about it and they're pointing out that the statue's moved. Like if you see a statue and it moves and you're with someone, surely you're going to be like, did that statue just move? You're not just going to either ignore it or assume knowledge there. Like that is just a natural thing that's going to come up in conversation.
Yeah, it's a really good one, actually, this one. Yeah, really good.
It's so much fun, so easy to just stick on and enjoy. I mean, it's the stuff of good dreams, isn't it?
Oh, I'm glad you agree. I'm glad you agree with that. Because
I might not have done if I hadn't re-listened to it, but I'm glad I did. I had a good time with it.
Real good one. Yeah. Speaking of real good one, Judy and Chains, that's another belter.
Yeah, that really is. I mean, you're more of a Fallen Angels guy, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. And I feel like I'm slightly more of a Judy and Chains guy. I did really enjoy this one on re-listen. It's a chunky one. It's like an hour, 15 minutes, but it's broken up really well. It never feels like it drags. It does feel a bit, I don't want to say less new series, but also it doesn't feel more classic series at the same time. It feels very unique in its own thing.
It feels very Collins, like, it's a trial and the Doctor's here to defend Captain Kaibo.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's more than that, because you get the nice stuff with Kaibo and the Freak Show learning to read, and it's just really quite charming.
Yeah, I think part of the thing that helps it not drag is that you've got quite a clear 3-act structure here, and also quite a good it's broken up very nicely by changing in locations. Because you do have all that Freak Show stuff in the middle, but you've also got stuff going on Alien Planet at the start, and then the trial at the end. And so I think there's a good amount going on here to keep this one engaging. It's still got, Air Knight says, it's still got that cheesiness of the old series with the carnival cast. I think it's good that the carnival aspect of it is challenged, though.
Yes, it is, yeah.
Like the exploitation of these people through the I can't remember the ringmaster's name, but yeah. And then just some beautiful moments, really. I think Kaibo is a wonderful character, and it does tug at the heartstrings, this one.
Yeah, because it's very much Doctor Who does the Elephant Man, isn't it, really, in a way?
Yeah, I think this is a Simon Bernard and Paul Morris one, isn't it?
Yeah, is that the first one?
No, I don't think so.
This is like a relatively... I feel like this is like their first one they did.
No, I think they definitely did one before this, at least one. They did Council of War. No, they also did one in Last Adventure.
Oh, yeah, they did End of a Line, yeah.
Yeah, and Aquitaine was before this.
Okay, that's me wrong.
There we go. I think also quite a few Jacob and Lightfoots. But
yeah, I think they went on to Jacob and Lightfoot.
Yeah, brilliant writers, brilliant story. For me, it's none of Stuff of Good Dreams, this one.
I can only agree. I think it's definitely... I think out of all the classic Doctor New Monster stories, that's the one that gets talked about the most, I feel.
Yeah. It feels like it's the one with the most to say. I think that's, for me, what gives it the edge on Fallen Angels. Fallen Angels is just a very good time. It's a very fun romp. Judoon in Chains has elements of that. It is fun. It is a romp, but it also has a real heart to it as well.
And
some good laughs in there too. It's wholesome laughs. Love it. Yeah. Harvest of the Sycorax now. But we've started on a high, but we're dropping off a bit.
Very quick drop off, I'd say.
Yeah.
This is by James Goss, and I really like James Goss.
He has so many good ones. I feel like with him, he's a writer you never know quite what you're going to get. And I appreciate that he's always trying something very different. And I feel like when you're as experimental a writer as James Goss is, when you're playing about things that much, sometimes you are going to have ones that don't quite land with everyone. And
Yeah.
for me, this one really did not land with me.
See, on paper, you're like Seventh Doctor Sycorax. Oh boy, this is exciting.
It's like you can see why they paired it up just because
Yeah.
of the rolling of the R's.
Yeah, and then you get this very futuristic setting, what doesn't quite fit the Sycorax, I'll be honest.
I feel like maybe you could have gone for like a more Predator vibe with them, I suppose. So,
Yeah, I'd say so.
yeah, I mean, they still can reuse the Sycorax elsewhere.
But I feel like if you're gonna do a Sycorax story, you sort of need like a Hinchcliffe vibe to it in a way, because of like blood control. Yeah, because they're raiding like a blood bank, aren't they? Like a pharmaceutical thing, isn't it?
Yeah, they're playing into that whole idea of the blood control that was in Christmas Invasion.
Yeah, and then you've got a companion called Zanzibar hashtag. Very, very modern.
I feel like that one's not quite aged that well.
Yeah, definitely
It
not.
reminds me of that bloody Day of the Doctor promo where Matt Smith's going on about hashtags, they're everywhere.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, people still use them on Twitter and such, but you don't really get people saying the word hashtag now.
Yeah.
That's died a death.
Yeah. That's true. And I remember this just proves how edgy teen I was. I was like, this doesn't sound like the Sycorax in Christmas Invasion. I do not like. But that's just probably edgy teen Ben.
Yeah, I think. Sadly, I didn't get to give this one a fair crack of the whip. It was the last one on my list to revisit before the ear infection came along, so I can't really say.
Yeah,
I don't think a fair crack of the electric whip, I should say. I don't know how well my opinion will be on this one, but yeah, I think we're both in agreement that it's not going that high on the list. From memory, might be my least favourite.
I think it's up there with another one for me.
Is this volume 2 or 3?
Volume 2.
We shall see. But yeah, should we say either Cursed by Carrionites or What an Ordeal?
I'll go What an Ordeal.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Because I don't know if anything will go lower.
Yeah, because I think the only thing that's keeping me from putting it in the if I should fall asleep before I finish this is that it's been so long since I last listened to it. I feel like it would be unfair of me to go off that old prejudice. Because you never know after all that time, things could have changed.
Yeah,
but
I mean, I will say one of these stories on this list I did fall asleep listening to.
Oh dear.
So I'll keep that quiet.
Yeah. But certainly there's a reason it was the last one I got round to. Well, didn't even get round to re-listening to it, but there was a reason it was left till last. I kept putting it off for other ones. But yeah, Sontaran Ordeal.
The only real memory I have of this one is Christopher Ryan's back. He's good, isn't he?
Yeah. You also get a good performance from Dan Starkey in there.
It feels very Straxy. Is it like trying to get the redemption of the Strax character, like the nurse?
I think
character?
It's played a bit more seriously, though.
Yeah.
I mean, we love Strax, but yeah, this does feel like it's doing something different there because it is very much a Sontaran with honor who cares about his fellow Sontarans. And so it's nice having that coming up against this Sontaran who is just doing it for like the performative honor of it to get these victories and doesn't care how he goes about that. He just wants to look good in front of high command. Whereas here's the Sontaran who actually cares about his brothers in arms in Dan Starkey's one, who I can't remember the name of. Meanwhile, you've got an interesting companion of the week with what was her name?
You get a bit of conflict between her and McGann, don't you?
Yeah, Sarana. Yeah, it's nice with this trio of them, with the Doctor, Sarana, and might as well look up Dan Starkey's character while I'm here. So Christopher Ryan's was General Stenk. And come on, where's Dan Starkey on? Here we go. Jask. There it is. There's a nice little trio there of a lot of backstabbing and distrusting as the Doctor is trying to just do what's best for both of them, while Jask is trying to play off Serrano's character against the Doctor and such. So I think that's a interesting way this story's done. But overall, it just feels it's nowhere near as good as Fallen Angels and June in Chains, but nowhere near as bad as Harvest of the Sycorax. It's sort of there in the middle for me.
Yeah, I'd say it's kind of mid for me.
Yeah, I'd say this episode was too mid. The episode that was too mid.
Yeah.
Which fair is still top half of the tier list.
Yeah,
I just couldn't think of
solid.
too many good things. It's like I think that tier more means there was too many mid moments for it to go any higher.
Yeah,
still pretty good
with that.
Yeah. So now we're on to Night of the Vashta Nerada, which is a pretty short one. It's like 50 minutes, but it should be really good. You've got the Vashta Nerada, this creepy monster made by Stephen Moffat, and you've got them in the what on earth's happened there?
It's the sticky key. Sorry.
Oh no.
I'll carry on.
Yeah. And you've got them in the Hinchcliffe era of Doctor Who, this really renowned for its horror pastiches. And you've got them on this Funfair Worlds. This sounds like the recipe for a really good story. But it never delivers for me. It all feels very basic and straightforward. Like, it's got some good moments. I like the Fourth Doctor in this new series style of story. Because
you're on the loose.
Yeah. Because you have the psychic character of the crew who he sort of like takes a bit of a shine to and is there sort of taking under his wing, I suppose. And that feels very new series Doctor-y to find like the innocent among them and keep them safe from the others. But, overall, it just feels very by the numbers. And I feel like with the Funfair setting, it is never really exploited. It is just them going about the areas of the park. There's no real sequences on rides or anything like that. The closest you get is when they go into the central control area and it's compared to a haunted house. But you don't really get any it's not an actual haunted house. So yeah, I just feel like that setting's wasted a bit on this one.
I feel like it's better than Nightmare and Silver in utilising the
that's
unfair
true.
aspect.
I'll say that much. But
I feel like we're at a disagreement here.
Oh, do you quite like this one?
This was my favourite of Volume 2.
This was definitely not my favourite Volume 2.
For me, it was just the standout one. I had a lot of fun with Tom. It's got quite a bleak sort of ending to it, I remember. Like, I haven't listened to this since it came out, but I remember thinking the ending was quite a gut punch. But I love the fun. Like, I feel like the tone feels more season 17 because you get some nice fun moments with Tom. It doesn't feel very Hinchcliffe what the story is going for, really. But I think the pairing of Vashta Nerada and Tom is great. I think it's definitely better than Day of the Vashta Nerada.
I agree there.
Yeah. I get that it's kind of by the numbers that it's kind of one by one gets taken away by the Vashta Nerada, but I think you're very much limited by the Vashta Nerada in what you can do.
I do appreciate this with both Day and Night, that they don't do the thing of them in the suits. Like, they leave that to the TV story and just do them eating people. I mean, Day does some other interesting things with them.
Yeah, because that's like the Nerada Vashta, isn't it, or something like that?
Yeah, like different strains of them through genetic manipulation. Yeah. I mean, for me, I'd probably go for this episode was too mid.
For me, I'd go stuff of good
Are we
dreams.
gonna go nightmarishly good then?
Yeah, we're going in the middle. So I think it's only fair.
Now we have Empire of Arachnos, which is one that took me a while to get around to the first time because it just didn't seem that interesting. But actually, I was pleasantly surprised by it on first listen, and going back to it recently on second listen, it holds up. How do you feel about this one?
I would say it's my second favorite of the set, to be honest.
No.
I really like how it explores the Arachnos. I think that we're still waiting for the stories of the Fifth Doctor and his Time Lord companion. I really like exploring sort of the Time Lord mythology in the Arachnos more.
Yeah, it's great to go back to that. So like this mix of classic and new Who, because exploring the past of time was very much a classic Who thing with stories like State of Decay. But the Arachnos, obviously a new series monster, so it's nice to explore that side of it.
I think Martha's mom does a great job voicing said Arachnos, and I think you've got Nigel Planner playing the husband, isn't it?
Yeah, either that or the consort.
Yeah, the consort. Yeah.
I think the Arachnos are very well realised throughout this, and it's great seeing that early Time Lord mythology.
Yeah, like the Dark Time stuff. It's all good stuff, like the time ships and all that. Yeah, it's really good stuff.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not
it's
too
by
sure
Scott
about.
Hancock, isn't it?
Yeah, always love some great scripts. So. Yeah, I'm not too sure about his companion of the week in this one now.
Okay.
That's one thing that sort of I was less engaged by on re-listen. I do think the ending with her is very good, though. I think the idea that the Doctor's done some good by turning her away from the warmonger path of most Gallifreyans, but yeah, I did it throughout most of the story. She never really engaged me as much as I remember. But other than that, I think this story still held up really well. Right, I'd probably say it's nightmarishly good.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd agree. There we go. Okay. The Caronite curse.
Could this be where our disagreement comes from?
Yes.
Oh, really?
I don't like this one at all.
This is my favourite, this set.
I just don't like it. There's something about this story that just doesn't click with me. I think everything's there because the Sixth Doctor is a doctor of language, isn't he? Linguistics. This just ain't itchy for me. I'd rather have the Jaguar Lightfoot version.
Yeah, I suppose because this came out like not long after Trevor Baxter's passing, didn't it? Really, and so
like a month, really, I'd say. Yeah, July. This came out August, wasn't it?
Yeah, and so there was like that unexpected, almost tribute there with it because it does reference a untold Jacob and Lightfoot story where the Doctor has a book written by him about all their different encounters, including one with the Carrier Knights, and of course it mentions Jago going off on one at them with all his superlative skills of linguistics. Yeah, for me, I do quite like this one, and the setting really works with the idea of these witches back. How you've got like this witch trial in not quite modern day, etc. in the 80s, but having these witch trials back on in the Black Country, where you've got a lot of history there with that, and them going back into the church and stuff, looking into the history of the place there, what's been going on. The idea of the builders and these people who have disappeared instead being absorbed into the walls and turned into ink. That's quite creepy stuff. I do have a really good time with this one. And I quite like the companion of the week in this one. And
Is that
her
the
father.
emo teenager?
Yeah. Well, not quite teenager, I think, actually. Because I think she's meant to have gone off to college and then coming back. But yeah. It is a wonderful pairing with Colin there. How you've got obviously him and his bright coloured coat and such, and then you've got him stood next to an emo teen in all black. So I think there's something to appreciate there.
I guess it's like Flip on the Lovecraft invasion.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So I imagine this is a bit more full on.
Yeah, probably
like
is,
you mentioned, the black eyeshadow and such. But yeah. And it hits quite hard at the end for me as well. It's Simon Gurrier. And for me, he never turns out a bad script. So I mean, we came around on the Black Hole, so maybe we need to get you re-listening to this one and you can enjoy it much more. But I would say this is the stuff of good dreams for me. I really did enjoy this one.
I think from memory, I give it a 6 out of 10. So I feel like it's unfair for me to judge it. And why is my keyboard trying to do all these things? I don't know why it's the Carrier Knights are possessing the laptop.
Oh, no.
It's great.
You probably wanted to put it in Cursed by Carrier Knights, didn't you?
Yeah, because it's very fitting. Oh no, I don't want to get rid of that bit. But because I'm kind and I don't feel like I have a right to complain about it because it's been 5 years. So it feels wrong to properly judge it.
If you want to compromise it nightmarishly good, then
I mean, I'll be. You know what? I'm feeling generous. You've been on your holiday. I'll let you have it. I'll let you have it.
Look. You're trying to make me feel bad about Night of the Vashta Nerada now, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
I've re-listened to it too recently. I didn't like it enough then, so it's staying in nightmarishly good, I'm afraid.
Okay. There we go.
You will have your second place and be happy with it.
Okay. I've been told. I've been put in my place.
We might agree again on Day of the Vashta Nerada Day.
Yeah, it's a bit naff in it.
Yeah. That's it. No, stick it in Cursed by Carrier Knights, move on.
Yeah, because it's one of those ones where I saw the cover again today. I'm like, what was that again? Like it was on like a space research facility and it becomes a bit of a runaround. That's all I really remember.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, really. Like, you got some interesting stuff with Cardinal Lush there. It's the second time we've got the Eighth Doctor in Time War now. Because this was not long before the Eighth Doctor Time War Volume 1, wasn't it? That was like October of this year.
Yeah.
And so this was not too bad in the middle there, but not too great either. I think I do prefer Centenary Ordeal to this. They're both trying to have their cake and eat it too. They're trying to be these fun stories, but also have like this serious message at the end, where it's like a bit depressing for the Eighth Doctor. And if it never really earns the ending. I feel like this one does earn the ending better than Centenary Ordeal does. It feels very much like a turn from Sarana's character when she hates on the Eighth Doctor for his part in the Time War. This one, it does feel more earned with the Doctor scolding Illustra. But yeah, overall, it's just fine. Yeah. It never really does enough for me. Now we're on to the recent box set, The Stuff of Nightmares. So if you're waiting around for this, you're not sure whether to pick it up now, pay attention, because here we go. We're going to be talking about not quite the latest Big Finish release now. We've had a couple more since.
Yeah, like 2 or 3, isn't it, really, now?
Yeah, I mean, we're
possibly
a couple of weeks behind, but we've had time to listen and digest and really think about these. So, House the Hawks built. You're the Third Doctor. Well, we're both Third Doctor fans, but you're the big Third Doctor fan.
Yeah.
So you take it away with this one.
This was an absolute delight. This, like I said, it's a joy to have Tim Treloar and Sadie Miller in a mainstream box set, and by gum, they earned it. And like for me, this is the standout of Volume 3, not because of the Pertwee bias. I just think everything gels within this. I think it just complements each other, really. I think you've got the nice sort of Pertwee space meets the domestic RTD Earth. You've got the nice sort of gothic horror nature of Unquiet Dead. it just the characters feel very Russell T Davis in the form of Hawks himself being like Mr. Copper from Voyage of the Damned, and then like you got Francesca. Is it like Woolly something?
Yeah, it's like the upright, something of the upright flock, isn't it?
Yeah, which
It's a very
feels
new series title. It's very much taking from the Forest of Cheam and such.
yeah, and like the Galactic Trust. It's got so many interesting sort of. It's a nice sort of riff of End of the World, but without the Earth being destroyed. It's sort of Sontar experiment, isn't it? Earth.
Yeah. It's very much looking into that same world and expanding on it and building on it. And like you said, with Sontaran Experiment, you could very much imagine it being shot similarly at the start when the TARDIS first arrives before they spot that house. You can imagine like the hills of Dartmoor and then this spooky house mixed in with it.
It's a story what it has a very small cast list, and I think it's a story what benefits with that because you get
It's very
nice,
cozy.
yeah, you get the nice sort of cozy stuff with like the Doctor chopping square carrots and stuff like that, and you get some nice moments with Sarah and Francesca. But then you have the mystery about what's going on with the butler, and then you're introduced to sort of the ghost aspect, and that raises like a question of what happens if ghosts are seeped into the building and they've been rebuilt, something along those lines, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, certainly going back to Sarah, it gives her a very new series role, and it's very Rose-esque with her being with the what's I can't remember her name now.
I
The
want to say it's
cheap woman.
Francesca. Is it
Yeah,
Francesca?
Francesca. It is that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like her getting her to come out of her shell a bit more, really, and challenge her uncle's views. The Hawks being her uncle. But yeah, it's this wonderful merging of two eras which are right for each other. And there we go again.
It's doing it. It's
What an ordeal this tier is going through.
it is for blooming my laptop at the minute. I
Oh,
don't even know why it's doing it. It's quite annoying. There we go.
yeah.
And I stopped it.
I will say I'm not a big fan of the ending. I don't think it's bad, but I feel like you've set up a lot of horror there, you've built up a lot of tension, and it just sort of feels a bit like a damp squid at the end.
I think it falls to the category of generic sci-fi explanation. The Doctor's right. Ghosts do not exist.
Yeah, it ruins the magic a bit, doesn't it? It spoils the fun, but what fun we had along the way.
But I have to say, it feels very Gelfy. With like the revelation of what's behind all the ghosts.
I suppose it just lacks that final Gelf twist, doesn't it? Because the Gelf thing comes along early on, and then you get the reveal of they are actually evil and want to invade. And so that racks up the tension back up again. Whereas here, it's just the reveal, and then that's it. Story's over now. We found out what's going on.
Because I feel like the ending is kind of abrupt. Like, well, let's move on, Sarah.
Yeah. It is a fitting ending, though, with the idea of the Galactic Trust and such, and the exploitation of these peoples. But yeah,
because it's quite.
It just feels like it could have been revealed better.
Yeah, because you've got like the third Doctor having this sort of sense, isn't it? And like it links to like Planet of the Spiders. Like, oh, I think my time's coming up now. I'm like, oh no, my heart's breaking.
Yeah, I suppose that's not a new series thing.
Yeah,
the Doctor sensing their time's coming to an
end. But yeah, it's a nice sequel to Image of the Fendal as well.
Well, prequel, I suppose. Bit of both in a way.
Yeah, I guess with it being
that's a surprise
Priory.
Yeah. So it sort of makes you want to re-listen to it again immediately, so that you can imagine it all being set in that location.
Yeah, it's very good, very nice sort of atmosphere and tensions brought throughout. Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, is it the stuff of good dreams?
A part of me wants to put it in nightmarishly good because of the ending.
Yeah,
but I think I prefer this one to another story. What I would put in nightmarishly good too. Well, actually, 2 stories actually within this.
Both within the third set.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, I don't know. It's your call.
should we leave it for now?
Yeah,
Should we
we'll
just
leave it.
Yeah, we'll
We'll
see.
leave
We'll
it.
come back to that one. But
Yeah.
next up, we have the Tavolian Who Knew Too Much, which, I mean, we've gone from your favourite of the third set to my least favourite.
Okay.
Is it your least favourite, or is there...
There's another one here. What's my least favourite?
we should see. Because for me, this is a very solid set. It's 3 really good stories, and then one that's just all right. It's a good bit of fun, but yeah, I don't know. I struggle with this one.
See, for me, this one has a nice sort of charm, and we recently did like a big finish for all occasions. If you haven't checked it out, there's a link in the description below to that. I feel like this is a good, perfect holiday listen, and you were on your holiday, and if you did enjoy
Yeah,
it,
that's true. But here's the thing: I listened to Fallen Angels on the same holiday, both
Yeah.
set in Rome, and one is more fun
Yeah.
and does more that setting. I appreciate what you're trying to go for. We've noticed the trend with Rob Valentine's scripts, and that sadly some of the action feels underwritten for audio. It's just like a mess of sounds, I suppose, and like it left trying to piece together what's going on, followed by working out, picking up the pieces from the way the scene ends and what people say afterwards, which is a shame because I feel like this one is quite an action-heavy one, so relies on that a fair bit, and I often found myself getting lost as to quite what was happening. And I mean, action can work very well in audio. You have the we've praised it loads, the Unzal Incursion, which is a very action-heavy script, but the way Mark Wright's done it, it never left me going, huh? To it. Whereas I definitely had that reaction to quite a few things in this. You also have a few weird reveals in it as well, like because of the nature of the Tavolians, like they are quite similar to humans anyway. You're sort of left wondering, was this character a Tavolian? Were they human? And
Yeah,
for a
you
lot
get
of
the
it,
random twist, yeah.
I was wondering, is this a character of a Tavolian or are they human? They must be human because I just said that. Wait, now immediately after that, we suddenly have the twist that they're actually a Tavolian, even though I spent half the story thinking they were anyway. It's like, it just feels like some stuff that the writer and everyone working on it knew because it's obvious to them, but it's never made evident enough in the script. And so, and then you have the same twist happen twice. You have the twist as this character we've known who's Italian is actually not Italian. They're just an alien who's pretending to be Italian. And like you've done that same twist twice in the same story. And so you've got no actual Italians in here.
I mean, the one thing what I like about this story is it adds another layer to the Tavolians. Like we said before, these monsters, I guess, are more of blank canvas.
I like the world building there.
Because the Tavolians on paper are just a race that likes to be enslaved, and they like that kind of stuff. Whereas this sort of plays with more of a rogue fraction, as it were.
Yeah, people who sort of like interpreted their nature differently, isn't it?
And I think having Leela and a very cowardly species is a great match.
Yeah, it's a very good combination. I think it's a shame they don't really do more with it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like another problem is during it, Leela gets captured early on, so the Doctor and Timble Phoebus go to rescue her. During that rescue, the Doctor gets captured. And then you've just got a repeat of that same plot again with Leela and Temple Phoebus instead rescuing the Doctor. He's even locked up in the same cellar, I think. So it's just...
Yeah.
But it feels like there's not enough self-awareness to that for it to be fun. But there are fun moments, like Temple Phoebus calling his psychiatrist during a car chase. I laughed at that. That was good. So I have fun at times with it, but it just feels like it could have been refined so much more.
I feel like it's a couple minutes too long as well. I feel like it suffers a bit of pacing.
Hmm.
This one. But it does feel very City of Death vibe.
Yeah, like it feels like that slot is, doesn't it, with the
Yeah.
location filming as it would be. That's like riffing off the gangster style of things as well. But where would you put this one?
I would go the episode that was too mid.
I'd agree.
Like I'd say it's a 8 out of 10 for me. I'd say.
I'd probably go 7 or 6 for this one, but that's about it. Next up, we have Together in Eclectic Dreams. Did you not like this one, Ben?
No.
All right.
This is the one I fell asleep listening to.
Oh, wow.
So it's very fitting.
Is this the one you would want to put in if I should fall asleep before I finish this then?
I wouldn't say it's bad. It's just it's not bad, it's just not my favorite. It's just kind of there, you know?
It's not too much of a hot take because we've been pretty vocal about our criticisms of the Sixth Doctor this year.
Mm-hmm.
But this is my favorite Sixth Doctor story of the year. But at the same time, it's not quite a Sixth Doctor story, so
yeah,
it kind of
it was a story that annoyed me. I'll be honest.
I really enjoyed it playing about with the idea of what's real and what's not, and I like this and the second Cantrafari story play about with it in very different ways.
I think for me, this felt too much of a rehash of Last Christmas.
I suppose I'm not as familiar with that one, so maybe.
So for me, it's kind of like Last Christmas, but with Colin, with a nice little mystery about Green Man. This one's really hard to talk about, to be honest.
Yeah, there's certainly a big twist in there, which, I mean, it's sort of revealed in the trailer, but at the same time, not. So, yeah. I mean, Mari Yoshida, I think, was a brilliant character. I really like her as a companion to Colin. I mean, he's had so many at this point.
But I think that's the thing what annoyed me. I'm like, why is Colin getting another new companion?
Yeah. But I think she might have been better than Hebe.
I think I'd take her over Hebe at this point. As much as I like Ruth Madeley. But yeah, this one didn't do much for me, to be honest.
I feel like it did a lot more for me. So I'd probably have gone nightmarishly good maybe for this one.
See, I'd go Cursed by the Carrier Knights.
Should we go this episode was too mid then?
Yeah, we'll go there. Bang. There we go.
Finally, If I Should Die Before I Wake. We love Storytime McGann. This is full-on Storytime McGann. It is a two-hander. It feels like you could have called this one a companion chronicle.
Yes.
And it would have worked.
Yeah, I think that this, like I was saying at the start, this one is very much for the long-term Big Finish listener going, you want 8 and Charlie, we're going to give it you. Because it's basically a two-hander between these two. It's great.
Another potentially hot take here. I think this is better than anything in the 8 and Charlie box set.
I can agree.
My favourite 8 and Charlie story this year isn't even from the 8 and Charlie box set. It is.
I can agree.
Yeah.
Because I just think it really shows the bond and dynamic of these two, because you've got Storytime McGann going about these Greek myths, and Charlie's like, well, I do this and I'm not going to do it. And it just shows the danger of the dream crabs, that the longer you stay in the dream, the more danger it gets, really. Because I think the first half of this story is you're just really liking the story time, but then you get sort of a big sort of twist, what you don't see coming because you're so engrossed in this is a nice little fable we're being told. and then you sort of get this quite bleak second half, really.
Yeah. And then sort of like a nice, wonderful ending. And also some very meta commentary in there as well, where you've got the Eighth Doctor character saying, "We're not stories, Charlie." It's like, you kind of are, but yeah, it's wonderful stuff. And I mean, the way it cuts to the title sequence and the end credits as well. That's a beautiful bit of writing. Just chef's kiss from start to finish. This one, it's got to be the stuff of good dreams.
Yeah, I'll have to agree. It is a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about. Yeah, now back to House that Hawks built. Do you feel like it's earned its place at the top spot, or is it just below?
I think it has to, because I think for me, I prefer the house that Hawks built, but I really enjoy the vibe of If I Should Die Before I Wake.
But I'll let you have it.
Yeah, I let you have Kara Knight Curse, so I think
Yeah.
it's fair. But yeah, that is quite
think
interesting tier list, actually.
Yeah, very top heavy on this one.
That's a nice change.
I mean, I feel like all three sets are very well worth picking up.
Do you have a favourite set out of the?
I don't know. That's the thing, really. I feel like they're all very good and very on a similar level. Lucy Wood asks, are there spoilers in this live stream? Probably some minor ones. I think we're probably away from the spoilers now.
Yeah, you're away from spoilers. So
we're beyond the stories. But yeah, we're trying to avoid the big twists because certainly some of these do have them. But yeah, I mean, I think we more so get into spoilers for like the older stuff, don't we? Volume.
Yeah, because I think there's been long enough time for those to be digested.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, maybe Volume 3 is the best, but I think it's between 1 and 3. I think 2's probably my least favourite, but it's also got 2 very good stories in it.
Yeah, because you kind of have that balance with the first 2 sets, but you kind of 2 real good ones, and you kind of have like take it and leave it stories after that, really.
Although for us, though, we talk about different stories with the second set.
Pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, Volume 3 as well. We've sort of ended up on different ends as well. With Devolian Who Knew Too Much for me is what Together in Eclectic Dreams is for you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a brilliant title as well, Together in Eclectic Dreams. I think Volume 3 is the best individual episode titles.
Yeah. Very good titles.
They are very. I think they all do mostly fit the theme of Stuff of Nightmares.
Dream Crab, especially.
Yeah.
Devolians, I don't know.
Is a creepy story. Yeah, I suppose maybe because Devolians are scared of everything.
Mate, yeah.
That's sort of like how we're not supposed to be scared of them. It's just them being scared of everything is what makes it the Stuff of Nightmares.
Yeah. I definitely feel like this is a bit of an underdog set, Volume 3, because if you look at the monster selection and then the next set, you've got the Silence and Clockwork robots,
I could see why they went for this set first, though, because you don't want it to look like you're gradually scraping the bottom of the barrel more and more. You want to save some of the big hitters for later. I think that's effectively done by having this set come out first. But also, I think it allows for some real surprises. And like we say, it allows them to play about a bit more with the different monsters, which If I Should Die Before I Wake certainly does with the Dream Crabs. It does something very different and interesting with them. And I mean, also, we love our Greek mythology here, don't we?
Yeah,
we love Tartarus.
Yeah.
And that very much plays a part in this one.
Yeah, I just like how the Dream Crabs are sort of weaved in with that. It's good. Real good.
Yeah. They're a very simple concept, but one that allows for some quite complex stories.
That's Stephen Moffat all over, really.
Yeah. It's a concept you can easily explain in one line, but then it spins off in so many different directions. I think for me, both Together in Eclectic Dreams and If I Should Die Before I Wake do very well with them.
Yeah, I guess that's Classic Doctor's New Monsters tier list done for now.
Yeah.
Until October next year. Or maybe December, or November when we get around to doing it.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, you never know. It could get pushed forward a bit because this was meant to be out in August this year. Well, this month. But got swapped around with Gallifrey War Room. So who knows? Maybe we'll get Broken Memories a little bit earlier. But I suppose, I mean, we've already talked about that as news, but do we want to have a quick look forward again?
Yeah, we can do.
See if our opinions have changed now that well, I've gone back and re-listened to most of it, and you've recently listened to Volume 3, so.
I mean, it's definitely an exciting set of Broken Memories, isn't it? Because the Silence, I feel like a Monster Big Finish should have really touched more of, really.
Yeah.
With all things considered.
I mean, I suppose the underdog story is probably Invasion of the Body Stealers.
Yeah,
the Harmony.
I think this set feels like a nice blend of like what the first two sets are and a bit of Volume 3 of you kind of got your heavy hitters and you've kind of got one more. You kind of like, oh yeah, that exists.
Yeah. I suppose it's good that they're getting that one out of the way first. But also, it does sort of suit Fourth Doctor and Sarah, and it's exciting getting Fourth Doctor and Sarah, so that sort of makes up for it. But as well, it makes you wonder, now having heard what they've done with monsters such as the Dream Crabs, I'm excited for what they could do with Harmony Shoal.
They fit Hinchcliffe perfectly. And I think when we were dreaming up about classic Doctor's New Monsters, about combos, McCoy and the Silence always popped up.
Yeah. I don't know. Getting Eighth Doctor and Silence as well. Could it be a multi-Doctor story? Because they are both by David K. Barnes. The Silent Priest and the Silent City. It seems to be more a direct tie than we've had before. Because Day of the Vashta and Night of the Vashta feel like one's a sequel to the other, but it's only very loosely, really. You could easily listen to one without the other. And then the Cantrafari in Volume 3, I felt like there should have been more of a link there. There was an opportunity for more of a link there, but it's not exploited at all.
Yeah.
It's still interesting to see what they could do with the Silence here.
The Colin one's going to be interesting because this is the one how Jack Rayner came up with the idea for her vision of Colin.
Yeah, and I mean, we don't seem to be enjoying that vision much so far. We haven't got quite round to Purity Undreamed yet, but from what we've seen, it's not going down as well as it could.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we'll have a whole video just dedicated to that. It won't be a live stream. I think we decided we'd do a little pre-record.
Yeah, gonna be dissecting the Sixth Doctor at Big Finish, aren't we?
Yeah, pretty much about sort of the rise and fall, because Colin's Doctor is very much, when you get into Big Finish, people are like, oh, they've redeemed Colin. He's, best Doctor on Big Finish. How that sort of has shifted over time, I think, now.
Yeah. But I think he's still a very good Doctor. I think he's just not having many great stories following 2020, really. Like, I think the last great one was Plight of the Pimpernel.
Yeah.
Which is a brilliant story. And ever since then, it's just really dropped.
So I was speaking to, I don't want to name drop him, but I think you probably can guess who, about this, and even they're not on board about Colin, and they like Colin a lot.
Yeah, it's a shame to see, really, especially because Jacqueline Rayner has so much love for Colin, unlike the Sixth Doctor, and has certainly done some very good stories. I mean, even in the set we just talked about, Jacqueline Rayner wrote the like outline for If I Should Die Before I Wake, but had to hand over to John Dawley there. I wonder if maybe that was down to either this story or just the Sixth Doctor Adventures in general being producer on that meant she had to wasn't able to finish the McGann story. But yeah, certainly some brilliant stuff there. But I just something's not quite working with Colin, but we'll get into that in more depth at some point.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for it though, because Clockwork Droids, what an exciting concept.
Yeah, very good stuff.
So I suppose we'll have to wait until October, I imagine. It feels like a good Halloween list in this set, even though it's not quite the stuff of nightmares. It still does have that same quality to it.
I mean, in a way, this feels more stuff of nightmares in a way, because these are kind of the creepy monsters, I think.
Yeah, I mean, certainly more. Other than the Cantrafari, I'd say, like the Hawks and the Tivolians especially aren't really that creepy.
Yeah.
I know the Hawks isn't necessarily meant to be, that's more about the story around it, but yeah. So let's take a look at the chat. Favorite Classic Doctors, New Monsters box set and individual covers, Stylish person asks. I mean, it kind of answered that one earlier for me. I'd have gone for Volume 3 as my favourite, just about. But Volume 1's also really good. It's very hard to choose because this is a very consistent range overall. But what about you? Which do you think's your favourite?
I think it'll have to be Volume 3, just maybe because it's that recency thing. It's in my head the most at the minute. But in terms of cover art, I'd probably say Fallen Angel.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with Fallen Angel. What would you pitch for Classic Doctors New Monsters Volume 5 if we ever get it? Certainly, I hope Michael Troughton and Stephen Noonan are both in there up against some new series monsters. I don't know which.
I'd quite like the Third Doctor and the Gelf. Like we've said before, like a fracking story.
Yeah.
That would be quite cool. I'd quite like Davison to get something.
Yeah, it'd be good to have him back after he's been absent from Volume 3 and 4.
I think, to be honest, he could have worked well with the Dream Crabs because you can be like, oh, it's like the Mara of the new series. I don't know. I'd like going back to like Under the Lake Before the Flood. I'd quite like the Fisher King.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
They'd work quite well. Don't know what Doctor. Maybe First Doctor, because I feel like there's something quite 60s about it. Maybe Troughton actually based on the Siege. Let's do that.
Yeah. I think it would be good to get something with Troughton set like in the Beyond War Games era that you couldn't get any other Classic Doctor facing, because with that you're playing with a time in his life that is sort of outside of time, and also he doesn't end up remembering. And so with that, you can have one that goes against continuity. Something like the Slovene, although I wouldn't necessarily... I wouldn't want them against Troughton, but just an example of a monster that the Doctor can't meet. Yeah. If you know what I mean.
Troughton's already met the Slovene in, I think, the 12 Christmases.
Oh.
So that's... I'm trying to think what could... I guess maybe you could do like the Weeping Angel. Yeah, Whispermen would be good.
Yeah, they're a cracking design. They definitely deserve to have more done with them.
I feel like there'd be a nice McCoy monster as well.
Yeah. There is a lot of potential there. And I suppose with the Chibnall era coming to a close, we could get some monsters from that, like Swarm or something.
Oh, Swarm and like Azure would be great for Beyond War Games. Because like you could play with like Celestial Intervention sort of stuff. That'd be cool.
I suppose Stenza as well, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not as big a fan, but maybe Big Finish could do something good with him. Mighty Pating.
Oh, Pating and Troughton would be great. Look at the size of that thing, Doctor. Yes, Jamie, it's very small.
Run under Jamie and look up his kilt. You nasty wee bigger.
That'd be great.
Stylish Person says, "What a great cover with some unique framing. I'm guessing Big Finish realised people really like the rejected playing cards covers, so went for something a bit more experimental." Yeah, it does definitely feel like the Broken Memories cover is a response to some of the criticism to the characters in a line that we got with Stuff of Nightmares.
Yeah, 'cause you don't even notice like Harmony Shawl on the cover. You're like, oh, they're there. It's good. It's a good cover. I like it.
Rank from best to worst all the alternative composites of TV, movie, Eighth Doctor on the covers. So Classic Doctor's New Monsters, Further Adventures of Lucy Miller, End of the Beginning. I think, is that all of them?
I think that's got to be it.
Because Eighth Doctor and Charlie didn't even really try, did it?
No, it's just kind of like a side profile, really, wasn't it?
Yeah. I like the improved version that someone else worked with the artist on. It was too late to go on the main cover because that was already in production, but it worked its way into the trailer. Classic Doctor's New Monsters. I think that version of Began looks quite good.
Yeah. I'd say the Lucy Miller one's probably the worst. So I think it just doesn't feel TV movie McGann because it's like the dark ice head and obviously the TV movie wig just doesn't quite blend.
Yeah. End of Beginning. I think that's the advantage of being a bit smaller on the cover. Like, whereas with the Lucy Miller cover, it is very much front and center. That is one of the highlights of it. Whereas there he's sort of more tucked away a bit, isn't he, with the other Doctors? I suppose that's
Yeah.
But yeah, certainly it's noticeable there. And I think the weird version on the normal class, the actual version that we got with Classic Doctor New Monsters, isn't that great either. So yeah, I suppose ranking wise, I'd probably put trailer version at the top, then End of the Beginning, then Classic Doctor's New Monsters, then Further Adventures.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Sarge Pestle says, "I'm hoping Harmony Shoal will end up in the Big Finish new series unit spin-off at some point." Yeah, because that was that setup, wasn't there, at the end with Get This to Osgood.
Oh yeah, gosh, yeah.
And we were thinking, oh, series 10, we're getting a unit story. And then Moffat did his usual thing of not following up.
That's a lost story. That's a lost story box set like Sleep No More's sequel.
Also, I love that Big Finish care about the fans and take on board their criticisms. Hopefully, they'll do it with painted covers as well. And speaking of Stylish Personal mentions, have you seen the alternative fan cover for 10th Doctor Classic Companions that an artist posted on Twitter? That's gaining traction. Most people prefer to the official cover. Yes, I did. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I think I liked it. But yeah, very good. I'll see if I've got it in my Twitter likes. Just so I can refresh it. But I remember really vibing with it.
Yeah.
Hopefully I can, because it was posted a little while ago, wasn't it?
Did it only recently start getting traction then? Certainly.
I've definitely seen it. I don't know if I can see it. No, can't see it.
No. But yeah, that was a good cover. You have seen it.
Yeah, very good cover.
But I suppose, shall we talk about a recent announcement that's not Big Finish now?
What? Hang on.
Oh.
TV Zone have just posted. Well, I say posted. They posted an hour ago, but we've been live. Doctor Who's upcoming Centenary special is to pay tribute to previous Doctors with classic items of clothing, plus more companions are to return.
Oh.
So, there we go. I think that's literally the article.
No.
Okay, so we've got Graham. It's been confirmed Graham's actually coming back now.
Oh, there we go.
The Doctor and other characters are also set to wear items of clothing worn by previous Doctors. In the special, the Mirror reports these include the long scarf Tom Baker's Doctor, stick of celery, a nod to Peter Davison, and check trousers like Patrick Troughton, plus an iconic question mark jumper worn by Sylvester McCoy and David Tennant's brown and blue suits.
Oh.
What else did it say? Getting Jodie and some of the others to wear some of the best loved items in the Doctor's wardrobe over the decade seems fitting and perfect way to mark 100 years of the BBC. The outlet revealed I think
I
that's
suppose we've also seen the 10th Doctor spacesuit in that as well.
Yeah.
That's sort of like, I mean, even Capaldi wore that. That just sort of became the standard spacesuit for the Doctor at one point.
Well, you had Matt Smith wear it in Hyde as well.
Yeah.
Chris Chibnall says Jodie's final feature-length story contains a plethora of treats and surprises for audience and fans, not to least the return of two beloved companions in the show's history. They'll be helping the Doctor fight on the three fronts against the deadliest enemies, the Master, Daleks, and Cybermen, in one huge story. The BBC Centenary will be celebrating the past, present, and future of Doctor Who, and thrillingly epic, an emotional send-off to the 13th Doctor.
Ah.
And I think that's pretty much it on the article. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the article.
Yeah, it looks like very overstuffed, I suppose.
Yeah.
If we're being pessimistic, which is probably the best way to go with the current track record of our enjoyment.
We'll just have to see how it goes, really. But yeah.
Not quite a title or release date yet, but it's something.
It's a start. It's a start.
It's a breadcrumb to keep us going.
Yeah. Just have to see. We'll have to see how it goes.
Yeah. Should we move from a breadcrumb onto a full meal now then?
Yeah, go on then. Go on then. Take it away.
Do you want to load up the Doctor Who website?
That would have been a good thing to do, but I am definitely not that clever and have not done that.
Well, everyone knows it's not really much of a surprise. Season 2 has been announced as the next Blu-ray collection box set that we will be getting. There's no release date yet, actually. My guess would be November-ish.
I would like to say the 21st of November.
Ah. Beautiful trailer. Definitely.
Yeah, we see the return of Vicky.
Yeah. It's that nice callback to Dalek Mania with them doing the voice together. Like the idea that the Daleks really captured children's imaginations. And I mean, it very much put me in mind of Crash of UK 201 as well.
Yes.
Good finish story. And a bit. Yeah, it looks like a very exciting set. 9 discs. We're getting a chunky one.
Yes, it's the biggest one to date, isn't it?
Yeah. So it'll be interesting having that on the shelf. And then some new documentaries.
Yeah, William Russell.
Yeah.
Is having that. I think that was recorded back in 2018.
Oh, wow.
So it's because they've definitely put stuff in the can, haven't they?
Yeah, they have a lot prepared. I know Chris Chapman tweets a lot about all these things that he's working on that we haven't even had announced yet. So yeah, certainly they're getting ready. I suppose it all depends on like availability and stuff, doesn't it?
Well, season 20, I think, is finally wrapped now.
Yeah, I think that's something they planned to get out a lot earlier, wasn't it? But then COVID happened.
Yeah, I mean, season 20 would make sense because this is very much like the year of 2 for Doctor Who. 22 in season 2 and then 20, yeah. If I can load it up now. There we go.
No animation for the Crusade.
I think that was to be
Which is
expected, to be
fine.
honest.
Yeah, there's no big surprise there. Got the
Um,
telly snaps instead. Hopefully, there's some good restoration work done on those, because on Lost in Time, it doesn't look that great.
I mean, from the trailer, I think season 2 looks beautifully restored.
Yeah. I'm not sure if they showed any Crusades footage though, or much.
No, I don't think they did. No.
Yeah.
I mean, the Web Planet looks good for its Vaseline glory.
Mm. I prefer the original Dark Invasion of Earth effects.
See, they've always been on the DVD.
Yeah, they are. They're not new to this. They were. You could tell it's 2003.
Yeah.
That's a weird DVD cover as well, because it's got the new series style saucers.
Mm.
But like, it's before the new series. So,
Maybe Russell's like, oh, well, I'll use those.
yeah.
But yeah, it's very exciting.
Mm.
I mean, do you have a favourite from season 2?
I mean, Dalek Invasion of Earth certainly hits the right nostalgia, because that was my first title and my second classic story, I'm pretty sure.
Mm.
But yeah, I think overall, I mean, it's some good stories though. Time Meddler is a very good one.
Yeah, I mean, if the Time Meddler's at the BFI, I'm very tempted to go down.
Mm.
I think it'd be nice to see that on the big screen, really.
Some beautiful artwork here as well. Like
I
that
love the
Dalek in
booklet.
river. Yeah.
It's very cool. It's going to be weird actually having Hartnell on the Blu-ray shelf, because like, you're so used to having Pertwee being the first box set.
You're so used to it all being colour as well.
Yeah.
I mean, there was some discussion about that, wasn't there? Some people complaining that, oh, it's black and white. They haven't colorized them or anything. But I mean, it's the way they're meant to be.
I saw somebody complain about
fine.
the actual cover being in color. I'm like, come on.
Well, yeah, it's at the opposite end of the spectrum as well. And apparently, Lee Binding's thinking was, you're getting closer and closer to the black and white as you go. Like, you got the cover in color, and then you got the discs in like the mono color,
Mm.
and then finally you get to the pure black and white when you're on the discs. But
Yeah, because that's gonna be interesting. Is like the DVD menu going to be black and white, or is it going to be color? Are we going to have the panda on the chair?
yeah, that's going to be exciting, because it's a very intricate TARDIS, the first Doctor's, isn't it? And so seeing all those different bits in CGI, that's going to be glorious.
But yeah, it's just need Troughton now, really.
Yeah, I suppose season 6 is the most likely candidate there.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be season 5, simply because of the animations.
They're too recent, aren't they, really?
And I think they want to cash in on those first.
Yeah.
I don't think people would want to be willing to fork out, like 50 quid? I know this has gone up to 50 quid, but you're getting an extra disc, so I don't really care.
I feel like some of them as well have been priced higher and then drop before the release date anyway.
Yeah, I think Xavi have got it for like 51 quid or 52. So it's a bit steep.
Yeah. I mean, it's 39 episodes. So like, this is almost triple what we get in a season 23 to 26.
Yeah, you're not getting extended.
And the price increase, you think it's fair enough that they're charging a little more for it.
And a part of me feels like this one is going to sell out.
I think there's certainly going to be a lot of interest.
But yeah, because I think there's a lot of like, oh my god, we're finally getting a 60 set pre-order. Like, I feel like this is, out of the recent ones, this is going to sell out.
Yeah. Have you got your pre-order in?
As soon as these trailers drops, I'm like, bang, pre-order. It's like, it's a no-brainer.
I think that's the thing, because with Big Finish, we're so used to pre-ordering and having to pay, aren't we?
Yeah.
But where when it comes to this, we pre-order and we don't have to worry about that yet. So it's much easier to just do that and be done with it.
I think I'm still in the mindset of I've got to pre-order it because I don't want to miss out, even though I know there's standard edition, which I'm too far down the rabbit hole now. I'm getting all these
I
limited
mean, it's been a
ones.
while since there's been an announcement of one of those.
Yeah, I mean, I should flog my season 8. I might get some good money. I don't know because I have a spare one because of Zoom. But yeah,
it's exciting times, isn't it?
it's just nice to have another Blu-ray set. To be honest,
It's nice to see the range doing something different as well. Like, this is one of the most exciting announcements in a while because we're getting a new Doctor.
yeah,
Like before, it was just sort of, oh, here's another Colin or another Tom. Whereas now, we're expanding into something different. And this is going to be interesting to do the full rewatch on in order because that's a lot of episodes to get through.
yeah. I mean, Web Planet. My God, I don't know if I can stomach watching that. I might just watch it behind the sofa and be like, that's me done.
Yeah. Well, it's an interesting collection behind the sofa, isn't it? No doctors this time, but quite a selection of companions.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to get this one in my hands. And I'm sure by the time I get this one in my hands, I'll be done with it and I'll be wanting the next announcement because that's just how we work as Doctor Who fans, isn't it?
Yeah, because you're kind of like, that's great, put it on the shelf. Okay, get me the next season,
Yeah. I've still not done much with I mean, I've been away for 2 weeks, I've kind of got an excuse, but I've still not done much with season 22 yet.
Yeah, because it's like, I'm kind of like that with like Abominable Snow, and like, that's not even out yet, but I'm ready for season 2.
Yeah.
Because I'm quite interested in the collectors bit about the merchandise, because as somebody who likes Doctor Who merch, quite cool.
Isn't that Emily Cook?
Yeah, I think that's her.
Presenting as well.
First one.
Yeah.
And I like the memes that have come off William Russell.
Oh,
Um,
we can't quite repeat some of those here, but
yeah. What's your favourite chocolate bar, William? Cadbury's. That's a tame one. That's all I can say.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ian and Barbara, were they at it? That's one of the less tame ones.
Oh, you said it, not me.
Oh dear. Don't cancel us. We didn't come up with it. We're only parroting it.
Yeah, it's TARDIS posting. It's fine.
There we go. Yeah, it'd be good to get this one in our hands and up on our shelves.
And then go, right, what's the next one?
Stardust person asks, was the last New Doctor to have a box set McCoy in late 2019? Wow.
I guess it was September 2019, wasn't it?
Yeah, because we started off with Tom, then we went Davison, back to Tom, then it was John. Wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then
it was Colin. Yeah.
Yeah, and then McCoy. So yeah.
Yeah, because I remember season 26 was announced like literally a week before I started uni, and then it was going to come out for Christmas, and it was January. So yeah.
It's funny because even though Troughton hasn't had a box of his own yet, he still had a good presence with 3 Doctors, 2 Doctors, and I mean, if 20 comes out before any of his, then 5 Doctors as well.
And then you've had the animation, so you don't feel like you're missing him in the sort of line.
True. Yeah, he's had quite a bit going on, whereas Hartnell's only had Galaxy 4.
Yeah, which I don't think is a success because that's been reduced quite heavily, that one actually.
Yeah, I felt like that was quite overshadowed at the time as well because only 2 months after Evil. Yeah. And then you had season 17 in the month after. And so it feels like while the animations were an event for a while, that sort of came when there was a slurry of them with Web of Fear just the month in August as well. So it sort of got a bit overshadowed.
Right. I have this is a bit of a tangent, but it's technically on the line we're on.
Mm,
Of the collection box sets we had last year, so
yeah,
season 8, season 24, season 17, what was your favourite one?
probably 8.
Okay. Do you want to know
Although
what Doctor Who magazine's favourite was? And this
24.
no. This is why we should vote. Season
Ah,
17 was people's favourite.
to be fair,
I
that would have been my second choice, I think.
I
Just
just
in
didn't.
terms of,
I didn't think there was that much new on it. To be honest,
but I
at
mean,
least,
Sharda, 6 parts,
but
definitive version.
but you had like season 24. You had like new making of. You had the extended edits. I feel like there was more going for it. The conversation with McCoy was great. Yeah,
I suppose maybe it's recency bias as well, isn't it?
maybe, but I think for me, 17 was probably the weakest of the year. Just because it didn't offer much additional stuff, and that's probably one of the reasons we buy it. Really,
Yeah, that's true.
but yeah, that's just my little rant.
Nah, fair enough.
Yeah,
I mean, we'll see. I wonder what one will come out on top this year, 22 or 2.
I mean, we can have a look at the results if you want, just as a little side note. Should we do the full little? I mean, this is a little bonus thing. I just thought,
Yeah, might as well go for it.
So, favorite character from Flux? Who do you think people voted for Flux for?
I'm gonna say either Dan or Carvanista.
Jericho.
Oh, no, that's fair actually. I think he's earned that.
Second place was Carvanista. And third place was Sarah from Eve of the Daleks.
Oh.
I mean, people like Eve of the Daleks, you know.
There we go. I mean, she was
on.
probably the best character in that, so
Yeah, not creepy wannabe boyfriend.
no.
Favorite creature. This one's really surprising. So, what
Is
was
it Swarm?
No.
Oh.
This is what makes it really bizarre. First place, Sontarans. Yeah, Flux was kind of a Sontaran series. Second was Weeping Angels. Then third was the Ravagers.
Oh.
Which I would say the Ravagers should be number one because of how good they were at the opening of Flux, really. Because it's a new monster. I thought the recency bias would be there.
Especially the makeup as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I guess I can skip the next 3 categories.
No, come on, let's go.
Okay, favorite effects. What was your favorite effect from Flux?
I suppose the spaceships materializing at the end.
That's not even on the list.
Wow. I mean, to be fair, I can't remember too many of them. So what was the top then?
It was the Doctor turning into an angel.
Yeah, fair enough. I suppose that has cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Appeal as well, doesn't it? It's more like sticking to memory because it's the last thing people saw. But yeah, that was
so. Our second effect was Flux itself. That was quite a good effect. And then the third one was Battle of the Crimea.
Oh, that was brilliant, actually.
That was good. Yeah, it was a good one. I mean, I'd probably say that was number one, to be honest.
Yeah, now that you mentioned it, yeah.
Favorite music? Do you have an episode with a favorite bit of music in?
Oh, so this is just the episode as a whole?
Yeah.
I can't say any of them stand out.
Village of Angels is number one.
Yeah, I suppose that has more atmospheric stuff.
Yeah,
that probably leans into Sagan Akinola's high points.
The next one's quite surprising. Legend of the Sea Devils has the second best score.
Ooh.
I can't really remember the music of Legend of the Sea Devils.
I can't remember any of the music, to be fair. So
yeah, and then Halloween Apocalypse is third. Then the next one is favorite set design. Do you have a favorite set from Flux? And sort of the specials?
No, not really. Not one that jumps to mind.
Well, I will tell you.
Tell me.
The first one is the Temple of Atropos. That was a good set.
Yeah, that was a pretty good set.
The second one was Flux Damaged TARDIS Interior.
Well, we're not a big fan of the TARDIS interior in general, so
I mean, I like the TARDISes all in one, like the police box being there. That was cool.
yeah,
And then third place
that never went
was,
anywhere.
well, it just got resolved in Eve of the Daleks, isn't it, really?
Mm.
And then the third one is Madam Ching's ship, which, as a ship goes, it's a very nice ship.
Yeah.
So, our next category is the merchandise poll. So, we're going to get some audios now. But before we do that, we're going to take a look at some books. So, we had a couple of book releases. Did you bother picking any of the books up last year?
No.
Well,
Fake fan.
Terrible. Favorite book is Dalek, and then the Terrence Dicks volumes, and then the River book, Ruby's Curse. Now,
that was last year. Wow.
Yeah,
I thought that was longer ago.
Yeah, it's mental. So, I guess we can move on to our next category, which is Big Finish.
Bring it back round to Big Finish fans.
And I think this is a good one to end on, really.
I mean, I think we know these ones because they're on sale at the moment.
I'm going to be honest. Ninth Doctor Ravagers.
I feel like these are the most basic choices, but also it's probably down to the fact that these were the most bought.
Yeah.
So you got more people voting for them because they didn't experience much else.
I just think I like Ravagers. I just don't think it's the best Eccleston box set for people to get.
It's like that meme of do you think Ravagers was the best Big Finish release of 2021? I don't even think Ravagers is the best Eccleston release of 2021.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to get one of the first Eccleston sets, respond to all calls.
I think Ravagers was an interesting one though because it was such an event. Like you had so many people who never even bought Big Finish before getting that. Like so many people didn't even jump on when Tennant did it. Were caught up in the buzz of Eccleston coming back to do Big Finish.
It was that nice sort of community feel.
Yeah. I can understand why it got that top spot because it must have sold extremely well for them. So many people got in on that.
Yeah.
I think Dalek Universe 1 and Masterful are the other ones, aren't they? Which way around were they?
Those are two. I mean, Masterful makes sense because that was a good release. And then Dalek Universe, again, that had quite a nice buzz for like a week, didn't it?
Yeah. I think it's hard. With Dalek Universe, it's hard to do because as a whole, it's brilliant. But I'm not sure how well the individual box sets rank. Like you can't. Like, I think we had a bit of a struggle with that with the tier list, didn't we? Like, if you could just vote for Dalek Universe on its own as a whole, I'd say that's the best thing in, or one of the best things in 2021. But when it comes to the individual box sets, I feel like they probably get lost a bit in the blur of it all.
Yeah. I don't know what my favourite Dalek Universe box set is, actually.
Yeah. It's all just... It's greater than the sum of its parts. Dalek Universe.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe 3 would be my favourite.
Yeah, because of the Davros stuff.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. What a great DWM cover as well this month, says Stylish Person.
Yeah, it's very good. There you go if you don't know what it is. Very cool.
Much better than the DVD cover.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame, really, but I get that it's mimicking Web of Fear.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. I'm looking forward to Bomberl Snowman. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Feels like a long time coming.
Terence Bowman says it's a disgrace if Josh Nares can animate a Big Finish story. This proves BBC doesn't care enough to finish the missing episodes. I say it's all down to money, really, isn't it?
That's a sad part of it, really, isn't it?
Yeah, because BBC
what's viable?
America's pulled out. So,
and I think power to Josh Nares. It's a passion project for him. It's a hobby. It's a love.
It's a very good fan animation, but it doesn't
Yeah.
quite pass the you couldn't quite do that quality for a DVD release, sadly.
I mean, I've seen people do like custom DVDs of them. Like, that looks really cool. That'd be cool.
I think he did his own custom DVD.
Yeah.
Jerence Bowman says, to not animate Zoe's first story, The Wheel in Space only needs 1, 2, 4, and 5. Yes, but I do hope they'll be able to do that one. Just go back.
I think if they were to revive the animations, Wheel in Space would be the ideal candidate.
Also, you got to complete the Cyberman stories at this point.
Because you can easily put a sticker on going Lost Cyberman classic story, even though Cybermen are barely in it.
Yeah.
But we'll probably get the BritBox version.
I think you could get away with doing it in the Web of Fear animation style. I know people hate it, but I think in black, especially, I think with like those simple sets as well, and the character designs not being too extravagant, like it's a lot of just skin tight jumpsuits, really, isn't it? Stuff.
Oh no, he's just gonna get some really derpy Cybermen. Oh no, I don't know if I can stomach it.
I'd stomach it more than I'll probably stomach the upcoming Abominable Snowmen.
I mean, that's
flat as Fury.
That's a future tier list right there.
And speaking of great, what a great stream! Great to have you back streaming. Here's to many more. Thank you, Stylish Person.
Thank you very much. Thanks for joining.
A pleasure.
And thank you, lurkers. We're not finished yet. We've got news.
No,
we've got more news.
We've got Big Finish news to come today. Yeah, because we got 3 weeks worth of it to cover. Or, well, 2.5, I suppose.
Yeah.
We've got news to talk about. Stylish Person says, not the Brick Swaps version. It's so bad compared to the brilliant loose cannon version. The loose cannon version has so much lovely CGI, which they've used in the official Power Recon, which BritBox lacks.
I mean, I don't really do recon, to be honest. I just listen to a soundtrack.
I wonder if they could do like a Big Finish trailer style recon.
I'd be down for that, actually. Yeah, that'd be good. So they did it for Galaxy 4, didn't they? On the Aztecs special edition, didn't they? They had slight animation to it.
Yeah, with the Chumblies.
I'd like something like that. That'd be cool.
So yeah, shall we talk about the Big Finish news now? We've mentioned it. We've invoked it.
So 4th of August.
Well, we're doing all the August news, really, aren't we?
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much. So we've got River Song is a friend of the family. A 4-part one by Tim Foley, is it?
Yeah, I think it's 4 parts. It's like the day after we got Series 4, I believe.
Series
was it the same day? I'm behind Series 10. Was that, or maybe it was the Friday?
No, it was a Thursday it dropped.
Oh no, 4th. Yeah, 4th is a Thursday. Yeah, and I think it came out on the Wednesday, didn't it? So yeah, it was the day after.
Feels very Old Lang Syne, I think we've said before.
Yeah, I think that's sort of what worries me. It feels like, have I heard this one before? Because it's by Tim Foley, who did both, and now it feels like he's doing the same thing, only with River and over 4 episodes instead of 1. Yeah, it's nice that they're having a lot of faith in River here, not having any returning elements or classic Doctors, classic monsters, new series monsters, nothing like that. It is River on her own for one big story. And it's something they've been doing quite a bit recently. I mean, we're going to have another one coming up, which we'll talk about. But it's nice to see Big Finish not completely go into the anthology style and mix it up a bit. And here we get a 4-part all by one writer. So hopefully that helps a lot, because some box sets like War Master Self-Defense, where it's meant to be one ongoing story, but it's got 4 separate writers in. Sometimes that gets lost a bit. That's it. I'm interested in this one, but I think it doesn't seem to have a big draw for me at the moment.
This isn't an instant pre-order. Because I sort of ummed and ahed about getting Series 10. Because I think we've had this chat, but it is getting to the point now where it's like kind of pick the Big Finish you want to get now.
It's kill your darlings, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I mean, Tim Foley, I have listened to his story from Series 10, The Two Rivers, and that's brilliant. That's a lot of fun. So.
And Tim Foley's probably my favourite current Big Finish writer at the minute.
So I wonder what he could do let loose with 4 episodes like this, whole box set to himself.
And of course,
I'm sure it's definitely going to have enough story to stretch for that. I think he does seem to be the go-to writer for longer stuff. Like he's doing The Autumn Infinity. He did that Blake 7 box set, The Clone Masters, where he did all 3 hours worth of it. So this seems stretched the most so far. So it's like, will it be him at his breaking point, or will he deliver?
I mean, people are saying nothing but praises on like the little article, so I'm sure it'll be good.
It's just that worry of if it's not, you've got it for 4 hours.
Yeah,
it's not going to change.
It's like you say, that there is that danger of, have I heard this before? Which is the case with most Doctor Who stories, but yeah, it's whether it stands up to Old Lang Syne, because that's got such a big following now, that story. Can this one deliver, really?
Yeah. I mean, admittedly, when I first saw this, and when you see Friend of a Family, I was thinking, oh, are we getting like River Song Classic Companions?
Yeah.
And then I looked at it, and then it was like, oh no, that's very different to what I was thinking at first. I mean, speaking of Old Lang Syne as well, you've got Wendy Craig in here again, haven't you?
Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it's, yeah. God.
And was Isla Blair in? No, I don't think she was.
I don't know.
But still, it's just... I'm sure it'll be different enough. There's no way they... Especially this close together.
Yeah, we'll just have to see. We'll have to see.
I wonder if it's going to have individual episode titles.
It probably will have like little subheadings.
Because certainly they've not announced them so far.
I guess it's still early on, really. It's not till January, is it?
I mean, probably not going to be that far away as we think.
No, oh gosh, no.
But I think this is definitely Big Finish making the most of the box set format, doing different things with it each time.
It feels very sort of back to basics for River, how the range sort of started in a way. Like Unit, it was like one story told across 4 hours. It feels very much of that ilk of Big Finish.
Yeah. Although Unit never was one writer for the whole thing.
Yeah, it was normally like 2, wasn't it?
It's very much them allowing the writer a lot more freedom to let loose. So, yeah, I'm excited to see what Tim Foley comes up with. But yeah, it's just that thing of how busy is January going to be? Is it going to have to be like a necessary sacrifice to keep our wallets alive, to keep food on our tables?
Yeah. Yeah, got to buy dollies and all that things. Yeah,
it'll be more expensive by the time it's out.
See, that's the thing. Is like, do I do a massive order now and just get it? You know, that's the thing.
It's like you need them to come out and say what prices are going to rise to. Really, because at the moment it's like, could I bear waiting, or is it going to be like a massive, like a £5 increase on everything? Well, that's probably worst case scenario, but yeah, you never know.
Yeah, because there's like the box that's going to be like 30 quid now. Like I know it's like a necessary evil, because I know that Nick isn't very happy about the price, but that's just the nature of the way the world shifted at the minute, you know.
Yeah, I mean everything's on the rise, isn't it?
And at the end of the day, Big Finish in the grand scheme of things, these are luxury items. They're not like necessity. I mean, they're necessities for us because we can't live without Big Finish.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those things.
Yeah, certainly. There are more important things that the prices are rising extortionately on. That is more worth complaining about and is more of a humanitarian crisis than this.
Yeah, like the B&M sets. God.
Yeah, that's the main.
That's a stinker.
But I suppose, shall we move on to the next piece of news?
Yeah, let's do that. Paul O'Grady.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Paul O'Grady. I like his dog show, and I used to like his talk show of like Buster and Olga. And I know he's a big fan of the Avengers because he said in like a Tennant interview that like him and Billy Piper were like Steel and Peel, I think it was, he said. So it's good that he's finally fulfilling his little fan Avenger heart.
Yeah. Are you going to pick it up to experience it though?
No. I mean, I might.
That was a long pause there. I was like, wow, is he actually?
Well, if there's like a warehouse clearance in like a couple of years time, which probably will be at some point, I might snag it.
An undreamed of Sixth Doctor box set. We've not listened to any of this yet. Well, I certainly haven't.
No, I've got it all on my phone ready. After Waterworlds, I'm kind of like we said, we're not too into Colin stuff at the minute.
Yeah, we're going to cover our thoughts at some point.
And I've been looking at the reviews on timescales, and yeah.
A trio of Torchwood 2022 titles revealed. This is news that you missed out on, actually.
Yeah,
I was talking about it before the live stream. Like, what's this?
Didn't even know it existed. So yeah, take it away, because Torchwood your thing.
I mean, certainly two of these, I'm definitely picking up. So we've got Torchwood SUV with Yanto and Tosh trapped in an SUV. Then in November, we've got The Lincolnshire Poacher. Wonderful title there. Written by Lauren Mooney and Stuart Pringle. And it's not a sequel to The Grey Man, but it's very much another story in that same vein. Creepy story by the same writers with Yanto on his own in a remote part of the world. And we got him going to different number stations. So that'll be interesting. When Big Finish gets into maths, it's always quite a fun story, like Iterations of I. So, yeah, I suppose it's also got a bit of similarities to Save Our Souls in that sense. It's not playing about with the radio style. So, yeah, we shall see. And then finally, we have another ghost story for Christmas with Queen Victoria in The Empire Man, again by Jonathan Barnes. So, yeah, I mean, certainly I'll be picking up Empire Man and Lincolnshire Poacher. Do you think you will as well? And we could do another Tortured Christmas stream.
I think it's starting to become a bit of a tradition now.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like they've peaked at our Christmas list and done the last two Christmases rolled into one, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I think I probably will pick it up because got to do a stream on it now.
Yeah.
And it's something different. It's December. You can get away and do something slightly different, really.
Yeah. Step outside our comfort zone a bit.
Yeah, it'd be a nice change to our December content that we've got planned, which I guess in a couple of weeks' time we can announce that, really.
Yeah, I suppose we'll keep stumm for now, as they say.
Yeah.
UFO was released.
Yeah. It's gone down very well.
I mean, that's Andy Lane, isn't it?
Yeah, Andy Lane's very good.
That sort of, like we were saying about killing our darlings earlier, that's something that we're not risking getting into because we only have so much money.
Yeah.
I mentioned
John,
earlier about when we had the Tim Foley doing a whole River box set announcement. This was sort of becoming a trend now with Big Finish, and this is one of those. As Rob Valentine gets to do a whole box set to himself. I suppose this is kind of like the Dark Eyes effect with Nick Briggs, and how that sort of shaped the following 10 years of Big Finish in a way, and very much led to the box era. Here, this is sort of like his success with Ravagers expanding out a bit more. Because I remember in that, I think it's David Richardson mentioned about how he'd want to do this more, just these one long stories across a whole box set with a single writer. And now we're seeing the fruits of that, because we've got River, and now we have Rob Valentine writing a three-parter which sends the War Doctor right into the heart of the Time War.
it seems very sort of, I get sort of like a multiverse vibe off it. Like you're going to get something quite
high
quirky.
concept.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just hope it's not too action heavy, because as we've said, Rob Valentine doesn't seem to deliver on that.
I think you probably got to get a bit of action in the Time War. I
Yeah.
hope that we get some quite wacky creatures and monsters.
Yeah. I mean, we've got the other three, so we'll be picking this one up.
And that's the end of the War Doctor Begins for now, unless we get an announcement in between then and December.
I think we'll definitely get more Jonathan Carley. I don't know whether it would be War Doctor Begins, because we're sort of at the point where it's like, how long can the War Doctor be beginning for? But I don't know, unless they're just using that as the banner for all young War Doctor things.
Yeah, I think that's a probably way of just sort of putting it all in one basket, really.
Yeah. But yeah, so I like that this range has been a mix of anthology and one long stories, because we had that with Warbringer as well.
Yeah, Warbringer is probably the best of the bunch so far.
Yeah. I still haven't quite finished Battlegrounds yet. I've got the last story still to go there.
I mean, you're way ahead of me with that.
Yeah, there we go. So much to listen to, so little time.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a good series.
And Jonathan Carley is fantastic as the War Doctor.
He's very good.
Back to Torchwood now with Soho, the Unbegotten. It's like again my baby, isn't it?
This is your thing, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've loved the first two box sets. Each of those sort of parodied or homaged a different Quatermass serial. And this is looking to be parodying the third one, which is arguably the best and most well-known one, Quatermass and the Pit. The Unbegotten looks to be going in a similar direction with ghosts and such. So I'm here for it. This is definitely going to be one to pick up. I'm just hopeful for a better cover, because I don't think the Tortured Soho box sets have had very standout covers so far.
I mean, I think Parasite probably the best of the two what have been revealed.
Yeah, hopefully it's going to be a Sean Longmore cover.
I'd hope so, because I felt like because he's a Tortured one, didn't he?
Yeah, and he's the one doing all the Tortured covers of the main range at the moment. So yeah, that makes sense. But it's interesting getting so much Torchwood without Jack still. Like, I wonder if this will be the release format now going forward, like get a Tortured one early in the year and a Tortured Soho late in the year, and then the main range running throughout.
I think that's probably a good structure for them to go forward. Because always that joke as the Tortured main range sort of come to an end.
Yeah, but no, it looks still to be going strong. Yeah, I suppose. Do you want to get into the last piece of news now?
Yeah, the Ninth Doctor's back for his second box set.
Yeah, that was good.
That's it. There we go. Yeah, I'm sure we'll cover that in a future stream. But I guess the big this is weird. Actually, I've just noticed this. 11th Doctor Chronicles are back.
Have they really gone anywhere? It's not even been a year since we had the last one.
I just think the word Chronicles doesn't help it. I guess maybe they're saving adventures for Matt.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, like, it's
But
weird because now that they've got rid of the narration,
narration.
the only real difference between this and like first, second, and third Doctor Adventures is the fact that the actor's still alive.
Yeah,
That's the only thing really separating them.
Which I know people aren't a fan of. But it's the best we're gonna get for now.
Yeah. That's it. It's been an interesting journey for Jacob Dudman, though, because he did start off just reading it as an audiobook and then sort of playing the 11th Doctor while he read the lines, but he's still very much reading it. And then suddenly he was thrust into actually voicing the role proper. And so, yeah, I know it's weird to think that it's been 6 years a bit, he says.
Yeah, because we had like the Ninth Doctor Chronicle. No, he didn't do a Ninth Doctor, did he?
He did 10th.
He did 10th. I didn't pick up those.
No. But yeah, I can understand why he wants to step away from it now. I mean, he's not given his exact reasons. A big part of it is just, he's been doing it for so long. Now he's ready for something new. But he doesn't I'd imagine he doesn't necessarily want to be known for playing someone else.
Yeah, I think that's probably the main reason.
Yeah, because he's transitioned to just an impressionist on YouTube to a full-on actor, really, hasn't he?
Yeah.
But, I mean, new companion as well. One thing I didn't quite realise, both Jacob Dudman and Sophia Ingar were together in Torchwood the Black Knight.
Oh, yeah, the recent one, yeah.
Yeah, so it's interesting seeing that. I wonder if they'd already cast her as a companion then. Or if it was based on how well they worked together, they decided to. That was October last year it was recorded.
What it was, this is all from the Sirens of Audio interview. I think that this series was in production for a long time because I think Alfie Shaw came on to the 11th Doctor stuff halfway through Volume 2.
Yeah.
And he wanted to do a full series. This was like his main mission statement for the 11th Doctor. It's like every other Doctor's getting their own series. Let's give the 11th Doctor some of that action. And I think obviously those two were talking, Jacob and Alfie Shaw. I think they probably collaborated on what the series will be. And obviously Jacob was recording Black Knight and he was like, I found Valerie. And then I think Alfie and Nick sort of went and sort of had a listen and were like, yeah, we found her. And that's kind of how that came to be, really.
That makes sense. I think it's a lovely little video they've put out as well.
Yeah.
It's like 2 minutes, but it just gets quite emotional in there. And it's weird hearing him say about, I'm stepping away from the role when you think, with 13 more episodes to go, surely that's about the same as we've had so far because of how sparse it's been.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't clock that Jacob was leaving until I watched the video. It's like, oh, he's going.
But it doesn't feel like it yet because we got him until February 2024.
Yeah. This is just really exciting, to be honest. For me,
I love how the cover very much feels like it's a new series promo piece.
It feels like it belongs in like an annual cover. I mean, the logo is basically time jacked, but Geronimo.
Yeah, it gives me some Series 11 vibes.
Yeah, I was thinking like Series 9 of like the orange hexagonal vibe. She had that weird sort of phase where it'd be like blue and orange for like the merchandise.
That's true.
But I think this set's caused a bit of interest actually, because a lot of people have been discussing about the Ninth Doctor, saying that they can't invest in it because there's no ongoing arc. It's just, you'll get one real stinker and maybe like one real standout one. And I think people are more inclined for these more longer stories, more overarching things. And I think Geronimo just ticks all those boxes, really. And I think if we look at the releases we were real fond of, like Dalek Universe, it was that big overarching series. What, we said, is greater than the sum of its parts. But we enjoyed the ride we went on. And I think that Geronimo just has that feel to it.
I think it's weird, isn't it, how Big Finish with the relaunch we're going for more standalone stuff now, and then suddenly 11th Doctor Chronicles comes along and it's a 4 box set series again. And I mean 13 episodes as well, which is, it's weird how that's worked out, isn't it, with the extra one in the final box set.
Yeah, and we're getting a Christmas special. Which you didn't hear it from me. But that's very exciting.
Yeah. And I mean, that's very much where the 11th Doctor feels most at home.
He's that whimsical fairy tale Doctor, and he fits Christmas beautifully.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see how this. I mean, hopefully a few 2-parters throughout as well. I wonder if they'll go for the standard 13 series, 13 episode series structure.
Yeah.
And do first 3 2-parter, then a couple 2-parter, and then a couple then 2-part finale. We know some old enemies are coming back, so hopefully Paradigm Daleks on a cover, please.
That's what you want. I reckon it will be the Cyber Boys.
Yeah, you sort of pointed out the cyberpunkness of Valerie Lockwood, didn't you?
Yeah, I think she's like bionic, isn't she?
Yeah, she's like a cyber-enhanced cyberneticist.
Yeah, so I feel like Cybermen, kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I
mean, it's room for both. 4 box
Yeah,
set,
I hope
episodes.
it is, because the 11th Doctor hasn't had a big finished Dalek story as far as I'm aware.
Yeah. I think it's only fair for Jacob to have the chance to face them, because it is sort of like the baptism every Doctor gets to go through. And certainly more than one has said that facing the Daleks was the first time it really sunk in that they were the Doctor.
It just was very fresh, like having the Snowman 11th Doctor, because it's not a variant costume we see a lot. It feels like its own entity and era, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's like Series 7, Part 8.2.
Yeah,
Part
it's
B,
like
I don't know.
Almost in between title sequences as well, isn't it? I mean, I suppose it'll be the 7 B titles, won't it? Because that was introduced with Snowman.
Yeah.
But yeah, nevertheless, it feels like there's an interesting gap here.
Yeah, I'm definitely on board with this one for sure.
I'm not 100% sold yet, because we don't really have details on the stories. But I'm intrigued. I'm not dissuaded from it.
I think for me, I see overarching series. I'm like, yes, sign me up. I just want to be invested in like that series.
I suppose it's also knowing that Jacob Dubman's not doing any more after this. It's all like, it makes it feel like you can invest more in it, because you know what you get in here.
Yeah.
You know you're getting this 4 box set, arc. It's not that there's any hidden later fees of how long this is going to go on for. Because, I mean, the 6th Doctor seems to have an arc going on at the moment. Supposedly there's a big cliffhanger at the end of Purity Undreamed. But it's like, how long
if we reach it?
In that? Same with 2nd Doctor Adventures.
Yeah.
It's like, whereas this, it's clearly announced that, 13 episodes, 4 box sets, that's it. That's what you're getting, and the plot's wrapped up. Whereas with other arcs, they seem to be more open-ended, I suppose. Which is a lot harder to engage with quite as much.
Yeah.
Praise from Stage Present here says, this Geronimo set is my third most hyped set behind Nemesis Express, which sounds phenomenally good, and War Master set 8 because Big Finish work. Best work is their Land of Fiction stories, and I've wanted more.
I mean, I think for me, Geronimo is where the sacrifices start. Because I feel like I'm gonna skip Rose and Nemesis Express because I'd rather get Geronimo.
Yeah. I'm certainly skipping Rose and Nemesis. To be fair, I was planning on doing that anyway, even before like this and Torchwood Soho was announced. I was thinking, oh, October, I've already got Third Doctor Adventures thanks to the bundle. I can rest easy that month. I don't actually have to buy any Big Finish. Now I probably will.
Yeah, because you got to say for sure.
Yeah, and especially with the prices going up the month after, I might have to do some pre-ordering.
Oh god, that's gonna be a pricey thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still need to do the Eighth Doctor bundle as well. Actually, I haven't got that yet.
Yeah, better get on that.
Yeah, complete the relaunch. And
yeah, because that'll be a nice one to have physically. That one for sure.
Yeah. I wonder if when you put them together, it is gonna line up.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
if it did.
So obviously it was designed to when it was first made, but because that was like the two square covers.
Yeah.
It's like, is it gonna work the same with the rectangular ones? Hopefully so.
Ooh, what's going on here?
Oh dear.
My laptop is froze. I don't like this at all. I don't know what's going on. Why is my mouse froze? This is terrible. I'll stop sharing so I can just get this fixed.
Get that sorted. Oh yeah, I think there have been a couple other little bits of news, haven't there? Like we got some couple of trailers, some cast reveals as well. And also a bit of another pushback with a set. The Robot 6 is now April 2023 instead of January.
What?
Yeah.
Wowza.
So no, it's become worse than Stranded. It was 11 months between Volume 4 and Volume 5. Now it's another 11 months because it's gone June, May the next year, and then April the year after. Assuming it doesn't get pushed back again. But yeah.
It's the Nicola Walker effect.
Must be. I mean, we're getting a lot of her at the end of this year, so I can't say I'm too upset by it because we are getting a lot of Nicola Walker anyway. So it's like that fix is still there. So spreading her out a bit more will keep that going rather than having it all in one go, and then you go through a dry period where you wait for presumably the next Eighth Doctor adventures in November 2023. But
I guess we'll get details of the next Eccleston set probably next week.
Yeah, I was expecting a cover reveal the day after or even the same day as Into the Stars, to be honest, based on the River Song news, and there was one other news story that came out immediately after the release, but I can't remember what it was now. Right, I'm looking this up because Classic Doctor's New Monsters.
Okay.
Of course, the title of the stream. Of course. That would be the one to slip my mind.
Oh, there we are.
But yeah, it's kind of a shame that the Robots has been dragged out this long because it was meant to be finished by now when they first announced these 2 extra sets. And it was weird because you had, when this 6th one was first announced, or first pushed back, it was pushed back to February next year. And then suddenly they announced, it's moving forward to January. But it was so far away that it didn't really feel like a push forward. Because like when you're in whatever it was, like maybe March of this year, January and February of next year pretty much feel about the same distance as each other, really. But now it's like an even bigger sting going back from January to April, rather than if they just kept it at February and then said it was pushed back. It's been a weird journey for this set. I just hope it's all works out by the time it's out and it's all worthwhile and the series gets the conclusion it deserves.
I guess it gives you a chance to listen to all 5 box sets in preparation again.
I mean, you've got to do the same at some point. You've got to listen. You've got to listen to the first one at least. You bought it.
Yeah, I'll give that a go. I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
Maybe we should just do like another little random release so it sort of makes me listen to it. Or we just do like a few random Big Finish reviews. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. That's it. Yeah, we'll have to find maybe some other like ones we can throw back to. Do like a collection of random throwbacks.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be good.
I mean, that was December 2019, wasn't it? That first one.
What's it? Oh gosh. Yeah, I guess it would be. Yeah, I guess it would be 2019. Yeah. Yeah, it was. Yeah, 2019.
That'll be 4 years. That would take to 3 years and a bit for 6 box sets.
Cool. But I guess that's pretty much us done for tonight, really.
It's been a good one. It's good to be back. It's all had a bit of a longer one, haven't we? Certainly nowhere near our longest, but above average for us.
I guess we've had a lot to cover, like all the news, and then the little bonus about Doctor Who magazine. Then season 2. Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, lots of exciting stuff going on in Doctor Who. And I mean, news announced while we were live with the whole Centenary details.
Good old Twitter.
A few minor ones there.
Yeah, all very good stuff. I guess we'll be back next week for whatever. I have no idea what we're covering.
I think we didn't quite get that far, did we?
No. We were just
I've only just clicked with me that we've been so focused on this one that I feel like we did have a plan at some point, but
we've probably got a Word document somewhere of like what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, we'll work that out after the stream, but we'll see you next week with something or another.
Yeah, there'll be something.
Says, thanks for a great stream. Take care, and here's hoping there's many more brilliant streams in the coming weeks. Yes, there shall be.
Well,
along with some pre-records.
Yeah, definitely be one about Colin for sure. But yeah, that's all very exciting. Thank you, lurkers, for joining. If you've not commented, we appreciate you. And if you enjoyed this stream, leave a like, subscribe, do all that good stuff because helps us out, and we can build a nice community of Doctor Who fans when we do these streams. Really,
yeah, it's always good getting other people's opinions in.
So yeah, without further ado, the only thing left to do is say goodbye. So goodbye, everyone.
Yes.